Welcome back to Your Average Investor. Today we're going to be talking about Viasat, VSAT, and if it's time to buy the dip or not. They just reported earnings. We talked about Viasat earlier this week in our What to Watch Ahead report, and it looks like they're down pretty significantly on earnings today. Let's look at post-market movers real quick. So here's just a quick little after-hour screener. Real nice handy tool. Viasat leading the way in dragging down the post-market laggards at almost minus 12%. So what's going on? Is it a good time to buy the dip? Let's take a look. From a technical perspective, they're sitting at about 16 and a half bucks right now. So we're just going to pull up the most recent chart and put in a little price line at these two support levels here. And this is the first area I would be looking at for a potential bounce if the sell-off in after hours continues, or if tomorrow the sell-off continues. I'd probably look for a bounce right at the 15 area. 16 and a half isn't that strong of an indicator to me, so I don't think it's quite yet time to buy if you're looking to trade. However, a bounce up into playing maybe the 20s or 25 range again might not be that bad of a swing if you can get an entry around 15. I'd be very careful though if it breaks to a new low, which I believe is an all-time low. Yeah, so if a new all-time low breaks below 15.02, that is where my stop loss would be, and I would wait until another base forms, something like this, where we start getting a base for several days before entering in. Now, another way to potentially look at this is you do have a recent low here. This is the volume weighted average price, this green line anchored to this low, and you can see it's sitting right here. Let me add another price line at about 15.6, which coincidentally is right around where the price has dropped to right now. So if Viasat had been following some sort of structure around bouncing off of these lower VWAPs like it kind of did back here, right? You can see right here, there's a little bounce, there's another bounce, another little bounce, couple little bounces here. And maybe a little bounce here too, but the most recent ones, it's just kind of cut right through and not bothered bouncing on the volume weighted average. Like if we were to put another one here, it would have cut through right about in this area. And so I'm not super confident in this as an indicator of the place to buy the bounce. I do like it a lot better down here. Now from a fundamental perspective, let's take a look at Viasat. What do they do? Who are they? Are insiders buying and selling? So it's a communication technologies company. They do satellites, commercial networks, government systems, etc., etc. And let's take a look at their revenue. This is probably in the billions. Let's see. Yep, 3.8 billion in sales. So this is 2.4 billion, 2.5 billion, 3.8 billion in the last 12 months, trailing 12 months. So their revenues are increasing, which is nice to see. And they're looks like they're operating at a healthy margin. They've got a gross profit of about $1 billion. Is that right? Let's come back up here to this. No, this says negative 1.4 billion. Not sure why it's not reflecting that negative 1.4 billion. So they're losing money, making 3.8 billion in sales, but losing 1.4 in income in the last 12 months. There's a decent bit of short interest here, sitting at about 12%. So that's kind of worth looking at. And this is interesting as well. Cash per share and book value per share, but mostly cash per share, sitting at 13.18. Now, at $16, you're basically buying the company's cash. However, because they're operating at such a big loss, that cash can dwindle very soon, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're continuing to operate at a loss to see a market offering for Viasat soon. If we look at the insider trading, we've got a bunch of option exercises and then some sales. We don't have any purchases. These sales are tiny though, $4,000, $3,000. Here's a decent size one from the VP, 120,000. Here's another one here for 150. I wouldn't take that as a signal one way or the other. These are all pretty small, so nothing really there to look at. Most of them, I'm guessing, don't want to sell at these prices because they're pretty dang low compared to historical. Like if you look at Viasat, for a long time here, sat between $50 and $60 a share. Little run up, Big sell-off here with COVID, little run up again, and then a sell-off ever since. Now, one thing that I am not sure of is how much of a direct competition these guys have with, like, for example, Starlink. If they are competing with Starlink, then I wouldn't touch this. I think Starlink has a much better positioning to take over the communications market than Viasat. But if they have a different vertical they're working in, then maybe that would be something to consider for a long-term play. And that's about all I have to say about Viasat. I would stay away. I'm not going to invest. This is, of course, not investment advice for you. You've got to do your own research and see what you want to do. As for me, I do not like the stock. I think it's one I'd... again, if the only way I would play this is if it came down here to 15 and a half, maybe I'd buy it for a little bounce, like 15.4, 15.3, buy it for a bounce up with a stop loss at all-time lows. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. We've got a fun giveaway going. You can enter until Friday. Check out our previous videos to learn more about that. Catch you next time.